Good morning, everyone. We are back today with a cracker of a guest who you'll be introduced to very shortly with wisdom, embodying energy and embracing seasons. And my name is Sam, and I'm joined today by my fellow co-host, Gaby. How are you today?
Hi Sam, hi Ana Yael. I'm very happy. I'm feeling alive and inspired to be with you both for this month, which is a little bit dark outside, but it's
Mm.
inner sun in my chest, like shining to be with such a beautiful women. And today we have the honor, and for me it's a great gift to have Ana Yael with us to share her wisdom. It's a good friend of mine. We have created beautiful spaces of yeah, cocooning people going through in between or liminal phases of their life. And yeah, now I let you introduce yourself, Ana Yael, however you want to be in the world today.
Mm.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, the whole world. Good morning, Sam and Gabby. Uh, I just feel amazing today. I indeed, in this in between, it's been so dark, very autumn, fall outside. Feel so warm inside, very sunny just to be here. My name indeed is Ana Yael, and sometimes, like very good women, I try to do everything and try to excel on it and learn from it. I like to define myself as a woman who is in love with cosmos and as a cosmonaut trying to understand more about my being in this whole world. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and in terms of facilitation, yes, I'm a coach, I'm founder of Umbral. I'm a breathwork worker and a dead doula, and I'm an expert in change and transition. And it is a honor to be here to share with you this very specific moment in life of transition, where sometimes the best things to do is just embrace and stand by.
Mm.
Mm.
Gosh, when I listen to all those job titles and roles that you just assigned yourself, and you said like a woman I like to do a lot, and I'm thinking, wow, you're kind of, I felt my, if I was putting my hands out here, it feels heavy, but also really the right work, you know the right work. And you talked a word, you mentioned the word change a number of times there, as well as transition. And it's like this sort of, we are in a period of change and transition. Gabby and I were discussing this, yes, recently off recording, around the changes and transitions that the whole world seems to be going through right now. So the work that you're doing at an individual level and a company level or a person level is so necessary. So, Ana Yael, can I ask you the first question? What wisdom do you draw on for your work?
I will have to say that is a beautiful question because we sometimes focus more in the doing, that when
Mm.
time
Yes.
is coming, the inspiration, the natural inspiration, the trust in intuition, that somehow we are wise somewhere in us to guide
Yeah.
us in how things feel and how things feels but good to you, indeed to yourself, in this you do you. I do feel that my I draw energy or wisdom from an ancestral place. I am
Mm,
Mexican woman which barely hard-rooted and ancestors that define my world and understanding that now is confirmed with also modern understanding and science in epigenetics, but indeed there is a flow in you, a generational flow of wisdom that I'm pretty
mm,
sure when in silence and through breathwork we can like reach to it and trying to align to something that we already have with us.
mm,
I base it out in the ritual of breath too. This is a place for me that made a change in my life. Breath work, breathing, and being one. And at the same time to merge the psychology of change. It
yeah.
sounds so cool to say transition and change management and all this, but actually we are masters on it in the moment we are brought to this planet, in the moment we change from amphibian creatures to earth creatures.
Yes.
Change is inherent, is in us. this transition, this moment when things swap and seems like so heavy, we should really like connect to the fact that we are masters on it already in nature. I think that my background in facilitation coaching meets the spiritual place that gives tools that have help a lot to bring all the best tools, and that's where best practices meets also ancestral wisdom through grief and healing, and understanding that this part of grief is a natural cocoon where we can go in with whichever type of loss we try to feel. And a loss can be also just changing position. It could also just be that your agenda doesn't go as you want. Those are little losses, and we should really try to embrace the fact that we can go through them and then we're really good at them, and just that because they're bigger or smaller, we can make actually a space where all this is sacred, but also a practical, all that meet together.
I just kind of think I love that little piece around how we have these small kind of losses and changes throughout our day, you know, that piece, and us being, you said masters. I think we need to find a better word because it feels very masculine, but they're the masters of change, you know, going from, you know, the being in the womb in water and then suddenly out and putting our feet on the ground. How amazing is that? And I've never kind of, nobody's ever said that to me. So it made me think, wow, aren't we quite amazing humans? As are all living things.
Yeah.
As are all living things.
Sorry?
As are all living things, you know, how a tree
Yes,
goes from a
indeed,
seed
yes.
to a massive oak, and
it covers indeed everything. It's a window of every time of hood you can think. It's about sisterhood, it's about motherhood, it's about childhood, adulthood. All this wisdom is tied by the wisdom of grief. It's tied of the wisdom of transition.
Yes.
Transition is really a key word, and we should like fall in love with it and find how nuances of our off tone of life, our tone of way we do the things, it's like these nuances can change, and we just have to learn to be with them. And like you said, we have never been told, and this is the big problem, this is the resistance that it is. We have always been confronted to change instead of being learned to just swim and stand by and flow through change, because again, that natural ancestry, that natural wisdom in us will lead us to understand and process the emotion and where will it be. So we have enough time and space to actually our neocortex, our practical, pragmatical, start to knit all the rest that we need to do to actually make things happen with the place where we are. So I think it means like learning to stay open with life, and the life asks us to shed another layer of who we are. We can shed it, but also we can grow it, right? So it's like saying you have one more chance. Which part you want to tie a little bit, which one you want to polish, and it's an ability.
I think this is very personal. I think with a bit about shedding, I think it's about putting aside just for a moment, because those parts of us that get us through one particular stage of our life to another are so important. We can draw on them again in future stages. So I'm thinking about myself very, very much here. I'm drawing on something that I had a skill and a knowledge and a practice of when I was in my 20s. And now in my 60s, I'm pulling on that. And I only realized it very recently as I was doing something. I thought, oh, this is what I used to do. And this is what I was actually very good at doing. And so I can bring that into this particular piece of work. So it's just parking and just holding on, storing.
Well, that is the beautiful of it. It can be what you need. You know, what you're talking is about actually the wisdom of cycles. Yes, there is shedding, because I don't know if you have seen maybe a snake shedding. It's not necessarily is the whole skin, as you said. Some things stay, Sometimes it's necessary to change totally. This
Yes.
sharing doesn't necessarily mean that is the thing. We tend to think in terms of completeness, and no, it is that. It is optional. We are in now wisdom of possibilities. We are possibilities. This try to define yourself in a square, in a place with all matches. It's totally unnatural for us. We can play it. We can go by one, but just to tie to one is totally unnatural. The only thing that permanence is change, constant change, wisdom of cycles, wisdom of silence, because in a wisdom of silence is where you go back to that place where you were 6 or 16 or 25 and you say, I can take that one with me to pass this challenge or to add up the creativeness that I need to solve maybe some pragmatical issue. So this is indeed a wisdom of cycles, a wisdom of saying now it's time for this, or now it's time to detach or reattach. And indeed, you can park it, as you well said, you can put it in things that you know that have, especially the tools that have helped you a lot, or the moments that you recognize yourself and give the merit to yourself. Most of the time, these are the places and the things we try to go back because we know we were good in it. But shedding all the things, I mean, is more like a trimming, right? But sometimes life asks for a total shed of something.
Yes.
And then it is fine, you know, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And that is wisdom in it also. Sometimes we see, I have these hortensias in the garden and I love it because I wish I would have brought one, but of course this conversation just goes natural. But they have beautiful part on it that it meets perfectly with the fact that it's already dry and ready to go. But actually my hortensias, if I don't cut it, they just stay like that, like crystallized in beige and dark the whole winter. They will not go away or I'm gonna say get putrid. No, they just stay like that and they look gorgeous. And when the change of cycle comes in spring, just again, it's like kind of they reactivated, and by the time you see the new ones, it's like it was never gone. There is actually not a totally change that marked yourself. There were no flowers, you know, that like there were flowers or not. And I think that is a little bit more like we are as human because we're more complicated. We are in more deeper process. And I think, or what I have learned is that transformation isn't something we manage. It's actually something we allow. We need to allow it. We need to allow ourselves, allow the things to let that happen, that the rhythm flows, that the natural harmony behind everything do the work, the magic, the natural things of going. We are organic, natural creatures. 90% of the things we're doing are already there. Most of the time is we block that natural flow. So in this work I do, if I going back and maybe to close the question, is I do feel I draw a lot of Asian and intimate process of just accepting humanity in a raw way and in compassion to it, in a full compassion, so I can guide others through to change and loss, but also like the real guy is the body, is the breath, and the moment itself when it's happening, and just allowing it to be in presence.
I'm going to just repeat what you just said. The real guide is the body and the breath and letting it be, to be in presence. I think I got all your words, Yili. How wonderful is that? Even just to just sit with that for a moment, I think maybe for our people who are watching, that's something that we all maybe, if anything, if there's any striving to be done, that's where we need to be working towards. And you talked about the wisdom of drawing on the wisdom of grief, on the wisdom of transition, on the wisdom of the seasons, the cycle of life. I feel that that's kind of just important for us just to pause. Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Gaby. Gaby, is there anything you want to pull on that? Sorry, there was just so much there that just landed in me when you were talking. I could feel a bubble in my body that I just wanted to share that out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much. and just take it in, and just wanted to bring something we were discussing before recording that I think speaks out to me, and we were also mentioning in previous episodes, Sam and I, remembering this remembrance that we belong to Earth. No, what is our ancestry? Not only the ancestry we limit to our bloodline. No, when we look into Aboriginals all over the world. For many of the traditions, the ancestry includes the rivers, the mountains, the stars, the trees. And what you said, no, once we remember we belong to Earth and we belong to each other, then there's this trust, deep trust in what you were mentioning, Ana Yael, no, in the organic process of life, of changing and transforming, and how. And I was listening to you, and I remember also today I saw someone mentioning Celine Dion. I don't know in details because I don't follow all these things, but I know she was ill, and she had deep, big challenges. And it's a psychologist of Chile, and she was mentioning how impressive it was that she had this scissors, scissors, how do you say it? So that she was out of, and then she could like sing. She was in Paris singing for the Olympics, I think, and apparently her performance was amazing. And no one could understand from the logic, no, the man, we humankind, we have tried to control nature and not trusting her, and they couldn't understand how she could sing after having these scissors and having challenges, because physically it was not possible to go in such a tenderness and sing like that, because she had something that made the body rigid.
Yes.
And Celine Dion mentioned that the only thing she could think of is because she never resisted the scissors. See, she
Right.
allowed herself to be completely taken over by the power of what was occurring to her body, and just allow herself to cry, to scream, to go through this complete process. And then she was also able to allow through her this singing, no? So that's what was coming to my
Beautiful.
to myself while listening to you and the work you do.
I think it's beautiful because indeed like that. I don't know if you, it was this old movie called with Jodie Foster, and she's supposed to go to this alien ship and go to the world.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Is it something
I
like
thought it was
Contact or
Contact,
First
right?
Contact or yeah?
The thing that I brought back because is that we received some design, alien design, right, to create everything. And then some humans then but put a chair in it so she can attach, because how she's just gonna be inside that thing without, without something to attach herself. They put a machine, and there is this scene when she's in there and she's like really like all this happening, and da, 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 da. And then in a moment she detached herself because she can just not more. There's silence, spins, and nothing. And then it's like that made me feel about that we tend to, it's about also like breath work. When there is an issue, we hold it, we get like because that's fear. Actually, when we're in tension, the first thing we have to do is exhale. Actually, that's how we come in the world, is by someone letting us come in the world. It's by So like with my kids, I was like, I said, just exhale instead of like when we do exercise and when we pull, we try to like, no, it's the other way around. In the effort, you exhale, because that's how your body just take in the form, the energy, the strength to just adapt to what is happening. And so that also made me think. We have talked also with Gaby in a beautiful group that we have about transformation and transition, is that if you know when you have moving sands and you go in there, and that's like a crisis, that is a change, that's a transition, the only way to pass it is by just floating. Do not put absolutely no control and just let all laws of physics, nature do their job, and they put you out. So in the standby, in the space on this space of slowing down and just indeed not resisting and just letting the things go, then indeed we match again the sense of safety. And when we match safety in our brain, everything is allowed, and then everything falls apace.
Ana Yael, you know that what you say is so right, and yet in the Western world, definitely in the Western world, we talk to our leaders in a very different way. You know, gird your loins, which is like an old phrase of saying kind of stand up straight. You know, back straight, shoulders
Yeah.
back. You know, there's this whole thing about how we talk to leaders about how to stand with their body. You know, I was watching an American TV program about the army recruits last night, and the whole way that they kind of beat these people down to be like almost like rigid in their posture, in their way that they hold their face. And we do that with our leaders in schools, in hospitals, and business and corporations. And that makes us so unyielding. And that's why we have so much burnout.
Indeed.
And that's why we
Indeed.
have so much stress. And I know you two have made transitions. I've made a transition from one career into another, but I moved before I hit the burnout piece. I knew that was coming if I stayed. So, you know, I had that inner knowledge that helped me. But
Exactly.
you know, that's the work that we all three do
Yeah.
with people, is to support them to know that they don't need to have their shoulders back all the time, because that creates an awful lot of pressure.
It's again knowing which version, which nuance of you know. It's like again we don't need to be like that. That comes from a memory where indeed we needed to stand like that to a threat,
Fight.
you know, to like a shield. And sometimes we need shielding. But most of the time we just need to be like a river. You know, the
Yes.
river, the water,
Yes.
and the wisdom. Sometimes it gets very clear and it goes very soft, and it just feels like a pool where you can just go in there. And sometimes it's madness, sometimes it's so hard. Sometimes you have in waterfall, like if you feel like if you put your hand in, it will get broken because it's so much strength. It's like so togetherness that you cannot pass through. And I think something went wrong when we were not about to be static civilization and stay. We were so grounded that everything that was fixed was giving us so much safety. We forgot to bring all the right practices and keep all the other ones that give us balance. And that's why we just like sometimes just focus on one thing and forget. But then this tightness, this shielding, which as I said is required sometimes, but that's the little of the time. This shielding, this position of toughness, of boom, like move because I'm coming, actually brings these layers that get crystallized and get hard. And that's why sometimes we feel indeed, like you say, the burnout, like cannot breathe because you forgot that actually there's a position where you can just like
Yeah.
flat down. There is
Yes.
also in
Yeah.
you that part. I think we are all in progress. I think we we try to move and to adapt, but I think that alignment of making choices that come by truth and not fear, and it will help us. But of course, the truth is very vague. Is very like perceptive. But I mean the truth to our nature, to organic self. Most of the time, if we just go back there and start from there, everything start to take an action that is softness with ourselves. And going back a little bit with what I was talking about before, with like frontiers, citizenships,
Oh yes,
who belongs
citizenship. That was
where, how it
before
should
we pressed
be,
record.
all
Yeah.
that, because this is also interesting. This is all transition. We were speaking a little bit to our audience. We were speaking about what makes you to be who, or which nationality defines you. And what happens when you have people like Gabby and me, I don't know a lot,
Me.
Sam, that we would just, and basically right now is, I think, majority of people that move from the beginning for different reasons. But the point is that what makes you to feel certain citizenship or certain place that you belong. And only when that is very far away from you. So for example, when you have been for many, many more years outside another place than where you were born, the place that you were actually born, and define a nationality, then comes very interesting questions. And we were comparing like, so then if I've been 30 years more and just 10 years in the place I born, where am I from? And why is the need to define it also? Like why we want to go back to rigid, like, you have to be from this limitation of territory when this world is free and should be like that. I do understand the geographical frontiers mostly for management, for resourcing, and to try to guide, but we just took the wrong polyphony of it and forgot the importances. We were comparing about what makes you a mother. Who is the mother? The one who takes the kid to the world? Or is the mother the one who embraces it and raises? So just putting there our questions that we can just breathe in and breathe out while just hearing it and see what happens inside. So we can just re-equalize to a natural rhythm that actually we belong to everything and everything belongs to us. And we can take parts of it whenever we need it. And we also, in this ancestral and natural essence, we also put back in things. And then we should be accountable of the things we want to put in and accountable things we want to take in when we need. And in this beautiful flow where there is no perfection but coherence and a natural rhythm and balance in everything you want to do, and take a little bit the stickers that define too hard, that
Peel them off. Peel them off.
like peel them off. Did shedding
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's right. There's the shedding.
Try another one. How does it feel? See if it works when I am. I think we are a continuum. Life is continuum. We are continuum. Again, river, we are water. We go, we come, we can get hard, but we can also get soft. And we need to learn again to fall in love with that wisdom of transition, that wisdom of reshapedness.
And that's I'm sorry, I'm Gabby, I'm jumping in an awful lot here. You tell me to shush in a moment. But
no,
that
I
piece
love
around
it.
individually we can learn to do that. And sometimes again we have the challenge to then support the people around us who are on a slightly different journey. So it's about managing some of those conflict challenges, if one, say in a partnership or in a relationship, one person is doing one thing and they are in their world transitioning into something and another person's over here, that can be a little bit of a challenge. Or when we get to the point of death or reaching death, how we can manage it. And I wonder whether, Gabby, you might want to pick up on this piece around the death piece as well, and that transition as we move towards death, and we know it's coming. We're all moving towards death. We may not know when it's
think
coming.
that's the thing, no? Human beings want to pretend that we are not mortal, no?
Yes,
and I find it interesting that my poetry book is called I Confess I Have Died, and people, when I share the title, most of the people make faces, no, like shock, no, like how intense or how I'm daring to say that, or talking about death. And actually, I think, and I heard that from a man that also, like Ana Yael, works in this realm of being accompanying people to our physical death. But actually, dying is a skill. We learn to die, and we used to have rituals when we see how humanity was for many, many thousands of years. We had rituals, storytelling that help prepare the human being through the different phases. And when we realize that all these phases are death, no, we are dying. When you become a mother, you are dying to the woman you were, or when you married. So I mean it, and people think it's like extreme to put that word in there. But if we would dare more to put this kind of word in, not for being catastrophic or anything, it's just to realize what you said. We are a continuum. We are part of life. We belong to life, and we are all dying. And death is our companionship through life. I actually did
I like that.
a visualization in my shamanic training that I have been trained already 2 years and a half. We had one of the journeys, or whatever you want to call it. It was with death. Death is the one that welcomes you into life, and it's like your guide to tell you, here in this physical body, you are works. Everything is here, but I'm always besides you, not as a threat. It's a loving companionship, and this loving companion, for me, it has helped me to realize and recognize how sacred and valuable life is. And that's also why I chose to die. I mean, to die to all the concepts and all the things I thought I should do, and do without heart and without really being engaged with life, because I was just trying to perform out of security and fear, which is not, I understand people that stay there because it's not easy. But I question myself and I say it's so precious. Life is so precious, and death helps you to cherish it. And I want now to go to the second guiding question we have, because Ana Yael, you said something for me very key: this accountability. You talked about accountability and personal responsibility, and nowadays many people want to be like free and enjoy life, but I think we are all forgetting we are accountable and responsible not only of our life but of the whole collective. Of what happens to one happens to all. And I'm feeling that I'm like an elder in training, so I'm taking it like that. Everything that I'm doing, it's with the conscious of the generations to come, not only my son. And that brings me to the next question. Now, how, and you have already mentioned many of the things that you are doing, and you are a mother yourself, and a beautiful mother. And how is the way you are living aligning with your desired legacy, or and how you view legacy at all?
Yeah, thank you. I do want to first say that going back to what you were saying, but it was so potent, is that indeed death has many faces. It has many, many faces, and one of the most famous faces of death is the one of extreme alive living, but actually not feeling alive. There is a kind of instance that everybody say, how come Robin Williams seemed like the most perfect, but he killed himself? Well, because death has many, many faces, and we succumb to many, many things. And indeed, there are like some masks on and some that. And so death is a concept. And there is a difference between the concept death that we created in this normal culture living to the actually the death and what it actually means. It has always meant. And I also want to say that temporality is that grace. Temporality is grace. Temporality is one of the most precious gifts we were given, because the fact that everything is temporary is the word, is a magical word, is the alchemy in a word that brings you back to where you should be. Like if you are in a extreme position and you think you cannot go anymore, you just have to remind that it will be temporary. It will be done. It will not be perpetual. So you should just again embrace and be one with it, and see if it's just maybe you just needed to stand by to everything comes natural to the wisdom how to go through it, or maybe what you need. But the same when you're just looking your baby in your eyes and you feel that everything is there, you also have to embrace, because it will be just 1 second. It's also temporary. And the temporariness of the moment, whichever type it is, should give the dimension to the fact of how graceful is that it exists. Temporality. Temporality is a grace. Temporality is a present. And all these, what you were saying, which I agree totally with the fact that death is again a master. I was laughing because Sam was saying it feels like so masculine, this word, but we have made
Yes.
masculine. But mastership and wisdom is one, and death is the best friend you can have. Death,
Yes. Gabby was saying about the constant
yeah,
companion.
exactly. And then she was saying, yeah, because in our shamanic, we start with death. Yeah, but not in the shamanic. We start living by dying first. We die. Do you understand that we were breathing through a cordon in your belly?
Mm.
You were another type of creature. You were not a human in the sense of how we breathe. You die to that form. You die. You die in a very shocking, specific thing have to happen that ripped you and forced you to find another total way to continue to live.
Mm.
So you were connected, you were feeling, you were doing everything with just one thing connected to you. Okay? And suddenly this is the madness and also the wowness and the extraordinary and overwhelming moment, but we are so the organic creature, nature, that wants to kick life in, even if it means you have to find a total other way to continue that life. That moment is death itself. And that's why, as a death doula, I can not but wonder how beautiful will be when we can break all our concepts and understand also that as a one more time of transition. Because only because you were proven and just recently how it actually works inside, you can believe that life can be like that and it can change. And unfortunately, I'm not in the future, in another place, another dimension, so I can show you that we know nothing and that what nature does, energy does, and has been here with a wisdom, a sense of know what will do. And based on this, yes, it is death is the best way, is a goddess to show you how to live. Is a reminder of how you're gonna do this today that brings you for where you wanna be if you will come. Is a shame. It is a shame, truly shame, that all the noise that surround us make us have so much distance with the death and with our temporality, because we think we are kind of infinite, and sometimes we are prepared. Sometimes we have the grace to understand that we have been palliative from the from the moment of our first breath. We are palliative people, because a palliative state means that you know your end is coming. And we know that
Right.
in the
Yes.
moment we breathe for the first time.
Yeah.
So the most time you put it, make it conscious and to make it as a guide, like temporality, that this temporality is not, I just get it to do it, try it once. I just get it to try it again. I just have another chance to put myself a little closer where I would like to be. And meeting that to the legacy questions. Thank you again for that question. Beautiful. I think that mostly as a mother, as a friend, as a guide, is part to see life as a continuum, because also that is that transition is just that. We don't like maybe how we're gonna be transitioning, but that's a totally other place. The thing is, life is in continuity is unstoppable. It's not a timeline, and it's a part of weaving a field where transformation feels safe. And but to feel safe, you were talking about that very clearly, Sam. We're talking about truth, because you need to know who you are. We're so busy in other stuff and pretending. So to know who are you, your truth, this really has to be our compass. So we are able to discern and choose wisely according to the things that make you feel more in calm, more in yourself. There's a very safe places where you feel just can be as you are. In the moment you think you have to put a tie to belong or wear certain things to be part of it, that already wrong. You should step back, because the safe place or the truth place is where you could be whatever you are without even questioning it. So I hope that my legacy and if I can name it, is to help others to cross their own threshold, and with dignity, remembering who they are in whichever point of their life, with grace, with breath, the same way we came here, that the journey of his life is also my journey, that the departure is also my time to also say goodbye. That is, in that moment, everything is mutual again, like in the beginning. It's very interesting. There are some scientific work behind how baby from when they are born until the age of 3 to 4, or when mind is totally unlimited because we believe it. Again, that happened again in the moment somebody tells you only have 3 months to live. You really believe that everything is possible for you to try to be in that state. So you forget all the biases and the structure that were put on you that fell. So it means that it actually never existed.
Yeah.
So it is interesting how of extraordinary beings we are. We are these human beings, and
that tell stories. Did you say stories?
sorry?
So just repeat that last little bit again. I didn't hear that last bit. You said it's
No.
interesting.
Yeah, that we are very interesting human beings.
Right, sorry.
Human beings, and each one with our own indeed story, because
Story.
each one with their own progress. And it's beginning at the end, we are able to believe we are possible in whichever way. I think there is wisdom in that, but it only wisdom just happening in again the truth. And the truth, your truth only happens in the silence. And the silence is only conceived by pausing. And by pause only conceived by breathing. Remember it only there. If you would only move the tempo of your breath by 1 second, it doesn't matter in which time, you need all your focus on doing that it will force that everything that happens around falls out. So if in this moment I just take a little bit more time to put in and out what I'm talking, that normally, automatically all the rest of thoughts and things change, because this being a primordial need to breathe, refocus everything. So in the slowing down, in the breath work, is where a place where you can find, or to start a journey, how your truth feels like. And then when you know how your truth feels like, you can have the space and time to say to you how you want to leave behind. And I think, if I may, I would like to be my legacy, especially as a mom. And I get very touched and I get very sensitive, but it's because I live every day knowing that it could be a last one. Is a gift. So I would love my legacy to be presence. I would love my legacy not be a brand, a title, but a way of being that is just congruent, at least to the first people I live with here in this my household. I like that it is a mom says yellow, actually looks yellow, some sense of accordance, even if it's a little thing. The way I live now, an ongoing practice, is that I try to listen deeply somewhere to me, to breathe consciously. And I think I will keep trying to create spaces, allowing myself to meet beautiful people. And there are people that understand the need that other can remember their own light. I would like to feel myself like I can leave traces of calm and courage in people that I touch or that I am sitting with, knowing that they are enough, I am enough just by doing that, and that they remember that compassion and love existed in their life, no matter the way they live or choose to live. And that really helps. Sometimes when I'm super frustrated, I start, when I have something, especially when I go in places where I know there are sometimes a profile of people that are more like more tense, or for some reason so enraged, even if they don't acknowledge. I try to see them as they were kids of 3 years old
Yeah.
or as a person of 90 years old.
Mm.
And I just see how my whole body changed just
Mm.
to have the patience to say like, so how do you need that I tell it to you so you can listen it, right?
Mm.
Like
You
how
show
we're
a bit
gonna
more
do this
compassion comes
together,
through.
you know? And if we all will do that, will be a perfection of world, and the perfection of world doesn't exist. So we also have to acknowledge that we need to transition the fact that everybody will be ready, because this is the thing that I learned and I talked to Gabriela. In the beginning, when I started this journey as a dead doula, I was like really like everywhere, going in conferences, trying to speak and trying to like kind of shake the people. Wake up, you're gonna die. What are you doing with your life? You know, like that. Like papa.
Wake up!
Mm.
And at a certain point, I was like, you know what? If they don't want to listen, there is a reason to it, because it all has to come from a place of congruence. They have to understand their truth. They are not willing to listen to it or willing to listen to it or created it. And there must be a lot of things behind why not.
And that why not is kind of hard for
Yeah, and
people.
that's why we need
Yeah.
to be compassion, and also to myself compassion and to every compassion. But I am open to whoever knocks on my door like this space and give the chance to bring back the thought that death is our companion, death is a friend. And I know people that are struggling and are very in a very deep state of sickness sometimes see it like, oh my God, you don't know what I'm talking about. I have very some losses. I also have carcinoma, and I have my best friend. One of my best friends died after 6 years of battling with cancer and two little kids. And I was guiding her even virtually because she was in Canada. And I know, I know that there is a way where we can make peace. It's not with death we need to make peace. It's with our own selves, with our own decisions of the way how we live the life. So we are there with death to be remind how alive we are. This season help us to it highlighted to us this season, and I love it also because it makes everybody to be in a mood of willingness to be more open, to feel their own transition, to be open to the transition, and hopefully in that way we just see death as a transition and just hold her and keep it close to us so it serves as a light and a guide in the decisions we're going to take further.
And you know, right now you are like that light. You're wearing this beautiful yellow. And this month of November and in the Western Hemisphere, you'll find the ginkgo biloba trees with a very bright yellow leaf falling. And they are a tree that's been on this land and on Earth since prehistoric times. And it's a tree that's lasted through the millennia and it grows and blooms and flowers and the leaves fall. And that yellow that you're wearing is absolutely the perfect shade for that leaf. So it feels really right that you're wearing that today and that the leaves around, if you're around in your wherever you are, go and find that tree and stand in it and think about how many deaths it has had and how many lives it has had. And that is what we kind of need to hold on to, coming out, I think, coming out of some of this conversation today. It's been wonderful. Ana Yael, I think we need to draw to a close. Gabby, is there anything you'd like to pull together before we close our conversation today?
So many things. I just want to say thank you, and to say I have the great gift to know and to share moments with Ana Yael. So I see you, and I see all you're already being that presence. It takes courage to live the life of hustling and striving and performing just because of love, and to change our search or hunger for power to love. And you have done that, and your kids are very, very fortunate to have you as a mom. And I'm about to cry because I know what it takes, and we share that, both of us. And I thank you very much. And I think people and also use them. We may think we are few, maybe not everybody's ready to listen all these things, but this is the way it creates ripples, and we contribute to the peace in the world. So thank you very much for being here today. It has been such an honor. So
Yeah, it really has been an honor to have you here.
yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. I just would like as last take that last thing you said, these ripples, these lights. And I think that is a beautiful way to put it in the way that's what I thought. What if we just leave some little lantern somewhere in the way? So whoever is ready to try to look for them, they know they're not alone, that there is somebody also trying to find another way. And like the little crumbles, that the little lanterns, that little torches, put it in a dark cave of like pioneers as humans just trying to be compassionate, as the same first human to try to be compassionate and be united by that. And if somebody wants to there, wants to go, or feels that is there in a place and gets to listen to this conversation, I know somebody knows that there are many torches somewhere there, trying to move forward a place where light, love, and compassion and temporality, being seen as grace as and a guide, is there.
Thank you.
And I will actually, when we post this video on YouTube, then I will leave below the details where to contact you. Also, if someone wants to get in touch and have the gift and the joy to be accompanied by you. So thank you very much, everybody that accompanied us until now and is still watching. So thank you for being here. Please help us grow this beautiful gathering or bonfire of wisdom we have been creating through the year with Sam and with so many beautiful people like Ana Yael. If you like it, please let us know, like liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and just keep the fire going on, the warm fire in our hearts. And this was with
Definitely.
wisdom. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.